welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 5, Episode 21.
Or Episode 115 if you're counting.
Thank you guys very much for being here. As always, thanks as always to our Patreon contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this and all my other shows all throughout the week happen all the time. Definitely wouldn't be able to do it without you, so thank you for keeping this alive very, very much. I don't really know if anything spectacular has been happening.
Battlefront's been happening.
Oh, yeah,
That's what's been happening.
Much like me playing Fallout 4 last week, we've just rented Battlefront for PS4. Star Wars Battlefront, of course, because it's getting close to Star Wars time, and
we're within a month now.
Within a month now of Episode 7 coming out, and oh my god, everything is so exciting at this point. You didn't happen to see this image that's been floating around of a dude who apparently purchased an entire theater's worth of tickets?
We were going to use that for a follow-up tonight, but we couldn't confirm whether or not this was a legit thing, but this got tweeted to us earlier today. This dude with a stack of a theater's worth of tickets, because dude was so bent on having a whole theater to himself, he went ahead and bought out a whole theater for a showing.
I can't tell whether or not it's actually legit because the person that it was tweeted from, that account doesn't exist. And either that's because it was already a fake account, a fake thing to begin with, or the person got slammed after that photo.
Well, how are you going to do that and expect not to get hate?
Yeah.
There are so many people who have been waiting years and years to watch this movie, to appreciate it with friends and family and loved ones, and you're just gonna be that guy who's like, oh no, here's all the money I have, I just want the tickets for myself. I assume that's how he sounds.
Well, if he's that rich to be able to blow that much money just to have a theater to himself, then
oh, no,
perhaps.
wait, I'm actually getting confirmation right now. This guy does have a screen name, Douchebo Baggins. Douchebo Baggins.
A completely different franchise that he named himself.
I know, what a
after.
dick, right?
It's very, very weird. In any case, I'm just gonna go ahead and state what our stories are for the evening before we go into much else.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do a show.
Yeah, I guess so. So, one of the first stories we're going to be talking about a little bit later on in the show is going to be covering YouTube, actually, and we talk about YouTube from time to time, and now this time we're talking about some action they're taking that's relatively positive.
Yeah, that weirded me out at first, because when you were telling me about this before we started doing our homework tonight, I'm like, wait a minute, this is painting YouTube in a good light?
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
this might bode in favor of those of you, including myself, who oftentimes make video and other kinds of content that rely on the American legal system's adaptation of fair use. And YouTube might be fighting for our favor, so we'll see how that goes.
Yes. Our second story of the evening, of course, we're right here on the cusp of getting Netflix to unlock their next series, Jessica Jones. We're going to talk to you guys about what to expect from that series, all of the very good reviews it's getting before it comes online tomorrow or midnight for those of us who have been waiting very patiently, and talk to you guys about you might want to watch this one.
And finally, our third story is going to be in relation to Black Friday, since I'm not too 100% positive whether or not we're going on air next week. If we do, it's certainly not on Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, but that following day is Black Friday. So since we probably won't be on the air before Black Friday, we want to talk to you guys about what things we've been hearing about Black Friday, maybe some gaming related things, and places that are not going to be doing that recent tradition of pulling Black Friday all the way into Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, screw those guys.
Yeah, anybody doing that is a jerk.
I know,
They should feel bad.
They should feel bad.
So those are our biggest details. Was there anything else going on before we got into follow-ups or anything? I mean, Battlefront has been a fun experience.
Oh, Battlefront's been amazing.
Yes.
I'm very happy. You seem to find yourself better with Han Solo's blaster than anybody else.
It's interesting, yeah, I can just one-shot a ton of stuff. Granted, that's kind of the way his blaster works. It's kind of a glass cannon, and I end up dying anyway. The problem I find with Battlefront right now is that you can't rank up unless you're doing multiplayer. I don't know whether you could rank up if you were playing with or against your friends that you have in your friends list over PlayStation Network. Maybe that's possible. I don't know from personal experience. I could probably look it up, but I don't know. But otherwise, if you're just playing single player, you can rack up all these credits playing the game, but you can't spend them because you can't rank up. You have to play online against other people in order to rank up. And
the thing is, you can't do that unless you've got PlayStation
Plus. Yeah.
Which is kind of lame for people who didn't already have it. It's like, oh, well, I guess I don't have a choice. Because the game doesn't give you a choice. You have to have it.
Exactly. And
Otherwise...
we didn't previously have PlayStation Plus. I was using the 2-day trial. We'll see how much I actually stick with it after that.
Well,
we'll
see.
see.
The free games every month is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. But they're only free so long as you continue to be subscribed to PlayStation Plus.
And there's the catch.
Yeah, exactly. So...
yeah, there's that.
That's what's been going on with Star Wars Battlefront in any case.
Yes. But we have a show to do.
Yes, so we do have some follow-ups, right?
Follow-ups. All right. Okay. So, first thing we're going to hit you guys with tonight is another bit of casting from Ghost in the Shell. Now, this is more or less confirmed, so it's good enough for us to run with. Deadline is reporting that actor Sam Riley, who is in the upcoming Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, is up for the villain role in Ghost in the Shell. Now, according to some other sites who say they've gotten a peek at least the synopsis, they're saying more than likely the bad guy for this film will be, in fact, the Laughing Man from Standalone Complex. The interesting about that is, if that article is correct, the Laughing Man will have people, like, he'll have some sort of an army or something like that.
Which is... That's interesting.
Well, because... If any of you have seen Standalone Complex, the Laughing Man does have the capability of bringing people sort of under his control or distorting people's...
So he kind of had an army, but not really?
And then there were all the copycats.
Yes.
So I'm not so sure how well that's going to play out. But signs are positive that, one, this guy, Sam Riley, is going to be our villain, and more than likely he's going to be the Laughing Man. So far, that if that's confirmed, that's two... solid people that are casted. No, you're the Laughing Man, you're Bato. We're still waiting for confirmation to make sure that Scarlett Johansson is in fact playing Major Motoko Kusanagi and not just some other character who's just a major.
I imagine it's going to be a major and they're not going to call her Makoto. I'm really counting on that, honestly.
I don't know. It could go either way, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, no matter what they do, nobody's going to be happy. That's the thing with an adaptation.
That's true. Somebody will be happy, but you'll always piss somebody else off.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
So choose which one you're gonna gripe about.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to our tried and true segment that we do every so often. It was weird that we didn't hear anything last week, but we're back this week with our coverage of Not Quite Justice League. Yeah.
Alright, yay.
Alright, ooh. Okay, so we have...
things I'm not really thrilled about.
Yeah, because we're...
again, as usual.
So we've gotten a look at these new t-shirts that they've got coming out for Not Quite Justice League.
We have t-shirts, don't we?
Yeah, and the thing about it is all this merchandise is supposedly going to go on sale as soon as the new year starts. So once we get into 2016... January, first quarter, all that stuff's going to start hitting because they'll have 3 months before the movie comes out. And it's like, yeah, you guys might want to get a little bit more of a head start on that. But you know what? I'm sure you guys are at least competent enough to make good shirts. And then they give us this.
These things are kind of weird.
They're kind of ugly.
Yeah, they're a little on the ugly side.
There's a Batman mask with a skull in it, calling him the Gotham Demon. And then there's some devil horns on Superman and the tagging on him, calling him a false god. Yeah, look at this. What? That doesn't look appealing at all. I would not want to wear either one of those shirts.
No, I really don't want to wear either one of them. There was another shirt that was just the Superman logo inside the Batman logo, just like that very first teaser we ever got for the movie. And that one I was like, well, if I was excited for the movie, maybe I would wear that shirt.
Yeah, the one basic shirt with just their two logos there, that's fine.
That's typically the kind of shirt I like to wear anyway. It's just stuff with a very standard logo on it, and I don't wear a bunch of artistic stuff on my shirt.
See, this stuff right here, I don't think is going to work, because that's part of the campaign is that, oh, it's definitely the versus thing. I mean, we're not pushing versus because it's V, not versus. But if you were really going to get people up and running for this movie, you really should have pushed that as sort of a viral marketing campaign earlier on, like what they did with The Dark Knight. Months and months ahead of time, they were pushing the Joker and Two-Face and all those other things in the viral campaigns that really made you want to go see this movie. But with this, like, I'm wondering it's one of two things. Either one, they're incompetent, or
entirely possible,
or two, which is also a possibility, they're just waiting for December to go by. That way they don't have to deal with Star Wars eating up all of the attention.
That's true.
And both of those, I think, are very logical. Yeah, I feel bad for those movies that are opening the same day as Star Wars, because nobody's going to see
Chipmunks and...
that Tina Fey, Amy Poehler movie about them being sisters. I think that's what it's called, like Sisters or something like that.
Sisters or something like that.
Yeah, Sisters or something like that. But I don't know. I just don't think this is going to hit.
Somebody's going to like it.
Somebody's going to wear it.
But it's not going to be me.
It's not going to be me. Okay, so moving on to some other, I guess you'd call it sequel news. So we have confirmation from Toho that apparently the English title for their next Godzilla movie, which was going to be Shin Godzilla, the American or English title will be Godzilla Resurgence.
Well, that's kind of close to the feeling of Shin, which is like new or...
New or true, depending on how you use a kanji on that. But Resurgence just sounds a little clunky, if you ask me. Like, if
has there been another movie that used the word resurgence in it? But I want to say there was.
Well, I think of Divergent, but even then, that's like the name of the book.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of. No, it does sound too clunky for a. Funny enough, a very clunky sort of monster movie, but it's like too clunky for such a simple concept.
Yeah.
Unless we're doing this thing where we focus on the humans for the majority of the movie again.
No, don't do that. Just give us the monsters.
Yeah.
Please.
But it's not like Japan themselves haven't made Godzilla movies that didn't primarily focus on people.
Roger, you're right. I probably would have gone with that Godzilla Revengeance.
Revengeance.
Take a page from Metal Gear.
Yes.
Godzilla. I would totally watch Godzilla Revengeance. But Godzilla Resurgence?
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I'm not really... It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have got a little bit of an update on that Prometheus sequel, which is now apparently an Alien sequel.
So they really did want to tie it into the Alien universe.
Ridley Scott
he was like, "Hi, but we've got teasers with aliens in them, but it's not really them. But it is. But like it's not attached. Like you're never gonna say, oh yes, we are now."
Yeah,
what is he trying to tell us?
Prometheus sequel is now officially called Alien Covenant.
No.
Ridley, you were trying to make a different movie, and then you fell to the pressure of the studio, like, hey, you really should tie this back into Alien. That movie was good.
No!
And we have, apparently, a synopsis. Ridley Scott returns to the universe he created in Alien with Alien Covenant, the second chapter in a prequel trilogy that began with Prometheus and connects directly to the 1979 movie. Bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, the crew of the colony ship Covenant discovers what they think is an uncharted paradise, but is actually a dark, dangerous world whose sole inhabitant is the synthetic David, who was played by Michael Fassbender in the last movie, survivor of the doomed Prometheus expedition. So, evil robot stayed evil, survived, and now he's running a planet. Great.
So what happened to what's her chick who actually managed to get off planet?
Yeah, so...
We're not gonna follow her? I mean, I guess, to be fair, the, what is the alien actually called? The,
Xenomorph?
The xenomorph that showed up there at the friggin' end of the movie, like, haha, totally aliens! I guess only the android robot guy would have been there to see the xenomorph.
Well, because, Noomi Rapace's character, we still have to know what happened to her exactly, because... They left.
Unless they say you don't. Come on, you don't have to know. You're gonna come see it anyway.
No. If you're gonna tell us a friggin' prequel movie, if you're gonna waste our time like this, friggin' tell me what happened. Don't feed me all this other BS. Tell me what happened, and then maybe I'll give you my $6.50. Why only $6.50? Because I ain't paying full price for this. No. Matinee only.
There's some theaters in town that are that cheap, but you gotta go to the
Some.
right side
You
of
have to go to
town,
the
and
right-
it does have to be in the afternoon.
Yes.
That's the stipulation.
But it's like, why do we need it so bad? And then it's part of a, look what they say here, prequel trilogy. That means there's going to be another movie after this one before we actually get to Alien.
That's ridiculous. Wait, they're pulling a Star Wars? Where
Basically, yes.
Are we going to have sequels after this prequel trilogy is done?
I don't know. Maybe?
Now I'm scared.
You should be scared.
I'm scared now.
Did y'all not learn anything from Lucas? We already went through this. Yeah, all you gotta do is drop your head and sigh, because that ain't looking too good. Okay, so some people were mentioning this in the chat here, and it's worth noting right now. Die Ranger is out officially now.
Yes.
Go get it. Gosei Sentai Die Ranger released from Shout Factory for the low price on Amazon, actually, of about $35.
That's interesting, because it was advertised at like $50.
Right,
earlier.
exactly.
I was real nervous about that, because the Zeo Ranger DVDs were...
Was it 40?
They were like 35-ish, and so I was like, okay, why is Die Ranger so expensive? That doesn't make any sense. And now knowing that the price has dropped, I'm feeling pretty
And
good.
if you're doing it on Amazon, I believe that qualifies you for free shipping without needing Amazon Prime. So you can just get it, $35, boom, there it is.
Yes, support these legal
incredibly
DVD releases.
easy now. Support Die Ranger. It's out there. And of course they're saying once that's done and if it takes off well, we get Kaku Ranger next. So yeah, let's do this.
Did we adapt Kaku Ranger? Was it just Die Ranger that we skipped over before we continued on?
It's the same deal. We used their Zords, and then the Kaku Ranger... the Kaku Ranger themselves became the Alien Rangers over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All we used was their Zords. We didn't use...
Well, no. Initially we used their Zords, and then when we couldn't
their costumes. One costume.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm thinking about Kaku Ranger. Yeah, Die Ranger, we just used Kiba Rangers footage, and then just their Zords, yeah.
So, Kaku Ranger, did we actually use more of their footage?
Yes, we did.
Yes, okay,
because eventually Saban had no choice.
Alright, thank you. That was the question
so please go support that. Okay, so we got a picture now from the Super Movie War Genesis that's coming out from the Drive portion.
Oh, okay.
It's a wedding. Oh, look at that. Everybody happy time at the wedding.
It almost looks real.
They look really
almost looks like a real wedding.
See, they look really, really happy here. Unfortunately, not pictured here is Chase, Kamen Rider Chaser. I'm a little salty about that, but again, I'm not, because if they're choosing to keep a character dead, then fine, because that means his passing meant something. That's important. But yes,
I can't comment on this. I
know. But yes, this is the wedding of Shinnosuke and Kitago there that we see in the forefront, and also the cast of Drive on one side and the cast of Ghost on the other, all present there for the wedding. And again, that is all one movie, not split into 3 parts like it has been for the last couple of years. It's all one movie.
That's good, because I've hated when they've broken it up into like 3 movies merged into one movie.
Well, because it's
really disjointed.
It's gonna be a little different to grade this one compared to the others, because with the other years previous, you could always tell one part was superior to another one. Like one had better writing, one had better production quality, so on and so forth. So this time it'll be a little interesting to see.
So now they're forced to work together, so they better freaking get it right.
Yes. And then on the Super Sentai side of things, we've got a picture of the team up between the Nin Ninja and the Tokyuger. We see them there in the cockpit of Shurikenjin, of course, with Tokyo's cockpit right there in the middle.
Why didn't they put the 2 yellows together if they put all the reds, blues, and pinks together?
Well, they put white and yellow together. Well, not yellow, but 4 together because they're both female.
I don't care. Well,
yeah,
I
would have rather put the colors together and put the 2 off colors together.
Yeah, don't put the genders together. That seems.
They do that some years, depending.
Meh, whatever. Not
yeah, whatever. Okay, moving on. And then we have a little bit more. We're not going to give you guys too much more news on The Force Awakens, just this little bit right here. There was an interview with Mark Hamill saying that he is very much still under an NDA for the movie. He was talking about comparing it to what it was like to be under an NDA for The Empire Strikes Back, when he was told, of course, the now famous plot twist of Luke's father being Darth Vader, and comparing it to about that size. He joked around saying, "I'm not even supposed to tell you guys I'm in this movie."
But we all know it.
Yeah, we all know it, but it's the thing. It's making people a little more antsy, like, oh my god, we're under a month. What aren't you telling us? And he's like, and he gives the example. Well, the way it works is if I tell you, I don't get money. If I wait till a certain day and you guys find out what I couldn't tell you, then I get money. Which makes perfect sense. That's how the system works. But
Hush money.
Yeah, it's hush money. That's
but
what it is.
very legal hush money.
Very legal hush money. And the thing about it is, within the next, less than 30 days now, I don't know that we'll need him to tell us anything. With all these dang friggin' TV spots coming up and shows us all this new stuff, what the hell's up with that stormtrooper? He's got a thing that can...
Some people might not want to know.
Okay, alright. I'm just saying, guys.
Very cool, but some people might not want to know.
There's some really cool stuff in these commercials now, and I just want it to be December 17th. I want to watch Star Wars.
I know, I do too. I've been reading Star Wars Aftermath.
Yes.
Which, I have been reading books and comics that all have this label, Journey to Star Wars The Force Awakens, that have little tiny tidbits of things that are attaching ideas of what's going on in the universe as the movie comes up. It gives little bitty hints that maybe you guys wouldn't necessarily want to know, although I must say that Aftermath is not a very well written novel, unfortunately.
I had heard that that's what most of the reviews were saying about it.
It jumps around all over the place. It's an incredibly difficult novel to follow. It speaks in present tense narrative. Which already, that's an okay narrative to use if you so choose it, but then it's also, the sentences are broken up into these stupid little fragments, and then things end on a question mark where they don't need to end on a question mark, just for, extra emphasis. It's very strange writing. Very strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so if any of you are in the same boat as us, not wanting to watch this stuff, we will do our best not to tell you. I'm just saying for myself, I might have to quit social media a little earlier than that, because I'll be just scrolling through my Twitter timeline, and I'll notice, one of the news sites I follow says, new Star Wars TV spot. Okay, I don't want to watch it. And then the spot will just show up in my feed auto-playing, and I'm like, no, oh man, that's so cool, but I didn't want to know yet. Man, this is going to be hard. This is going to be a hard 29 days.
Well, I'm okay taking the official stuff that is
if it's in a book, that's fine, but when it's the visuals, it's like, boom, it's right there.
No, again, I'm okay with the official stuff. What I don't want is somebody to finally have obtained leaked information, and then that, boom, shows up on my time. That I don't want to know. I don't want any of that. So yeah, I might have to quit social media early to avoid that, because somebody's going to do it.
Somebody's going to do it. It's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when.
Yes.
But yes, that's all our follow-ups for the evening. Let's get right into our first story.
Okay, so our first story was in regard... this was YouTube, right?
Yes.
Alright, YouTube, okay. That's a YouTube logo.
Fist.
And yeah, whatever. So this has been very, very interesting development over this past day, where YouTube has been changing the way that they're coming at copyrighted material.
Well, let's back up for a second and talk about what the problem is that they're addressing.
Okay, well, a lot of the problem involves fair use. In fact, oftentimes imagery you'll see pop up in this very show, the show that we do, some of it is licensed imagery, but it's, typically just a picture, or we use it for commentary purposes, but because we're not showing, a full-length thing, and we're talking over it, and we're discussing it, and we're discussing news and ideas and stuff, that's something that's considered fair use. A lot of times, critique is considered fair use, parody is considered fair use, news is considered fair use. These are a bunch of examples of what fair use is. Companies don't give a crap.
No, they do not.
Either they don't care what it is, or they don't know what it is, and they just think, oh, well, it's got my picture in it, so I own it, blanket, straight out.
Give me money.
That's it. Or some people use YouTube's admittedly quite flawed system to lie that they own the copyright at all, and then they go around flagging people's content and then reaping the rewards of their monetization, even though they actually don't own that copyright at all. Or, apparently, there are some companies out there, like movie studios or game production studios, that get really butthurt over your critique of their thing, and they don't want other people. This notably happened with Konami, when Konami was having some rough times with Hideo Kojima, and
Right.
this guy like went into all the super detail with all this insider information about how Kojima was being handled really poorly within the walls of Konami, and then Konami came in and like flagged the video to try and get a takedown notice
Under the
in-
guise of copyright.
under the guise of copyright, which it was not. It was absolutely totally fair use, and thankfully YouTube came in and was like, no, we're reinstating this immediately, which is basically the direction.
Which brings us to today's story. So YouTube has finally decided, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to start helping the people who are basically being bullied through this system, and we're going to give them some support, some backup.
Yes. So this doesn't count for every single video producer as of yet. You
No.
know. This apparently is YouTube going out of their way to look for people who say are good examples of what fair use actually is. For
Basically
example,
rewarding good behavior in a manner of speaking.
I guess so. One page on YouTube that describes what fair use is, for example, notes under criticism, news reporting, and remix. Some of you might know under critiques, Pro Jared, who's they use an example of his review of Drake of the 99 Dragons as an example of criticism. So he's an example of somebody that they think best utilizes this idea of what fair use is, and they are willing to defend him should anytime somebody try and come in and slap a copyright claim on his video. They're willing to stand up for him, reinstate his video, and should the company that is flagging him choose to pursue legal action, they will in fact cover his legal fees for protecting this video up to what I think it was $1 million. $1 million.
That's what was quoted there. And the same thing goes for the other ones for news and for remix as well. So it's nice to see that they're finally starting to do something, because as it stands right now, like she just stated, all of these different takedown notices that come in, all of because the system was botched to begin with. These bots that sometimes come in and do these sweeping, flag, they don't know any better.
And if you're really, really unlucky, it'll just like, boom, flag like 80 bajillion videos on your channel all at once, and then if you get 3 copyright strikes, then your channel is just gone because a robot came in and did this friggin' carpet bomb of your channel.
Right, and then you have no recourse there, you're screwed. So it's nice to see that they're finally deciding to, I don't know, be on the side of the people who are helping make your company so great.
Right.
Because, you know, without people there constantly putting their content there, you won't have anybody there to defend or go there.
So the idea is, the unfortunate part is no, this is not in action for every single individual. Probably some really big named people. They're hoping, you can tell what they're hoping for is that if they defend some of these larger named people, like if a company came and pissed some big name off enough that it would scare these companies away from blanket carpet bombing these channels all the time, as they frequently do, and it'll have some trickle down kind of effect to not want to do that to the people who maybe don't get so many views.
Right.
It does feel like they're going for really big name people. They don't expressly say that, but they did say they like hand chose some people that they're going to be working with, and they're going to be adding more in the future. So like, it's a good first step. It's
Right.
not a perfect first step, and it's not a complete solution.
Well, it's
but-
it's better than nothing, and it's better than leaving us to the system that's basically like leaving, you know, reviewers and critiquers to the wolves. Or the bots, as it were.
Yes.
Because you think about it, you've had this problem too over the years of, I guess you'd call them a dummy corporation saying, "Hey, that's mine."
Yeah, and then I would go and research, who the hell are you? And it would be some splinter group of a company that doesn't actually exist trying to leech this money. Like, they don't friggin' own the rights. Maybe not anywhere, but definitely not in the United States or our, our other friendly, free trade media entertainment companies or countries. And so they would just take a copyright claim of one of my videos and it would block it from being able to be viewed in the United States. And it's like, you don't have the right to do that. I know who owns the copyright here in America, and it's not you. What are you doing? So I would have to fight it. And now I'm very, very fortunate at this point. I've been able to fight all of my copyright claims and win thus far. There was only one that I didn't outright win, and it was my review of Fritz the Cat by Ralph Bakshi. Fortunately, the video is still up and live and viewable across the world, but I can't monetize it. But I don't know.
So we say that this is a good first step. What's the next step? What's the next thing YouTube has to do in order to keep basically all of the reviewers and content creators on their good side?
There needs to be some changes in how the content ID system works, because as soon as something goes up, like for example my Batman Mask of the Phantasm review, I could not out-edit the copyright bots to save my life. I tried to actually edit it so that it wouldn't flag it at all, and that so did not work. So for the brief amount of time that your video has been flagged for content ID, then the company that identifies itself as being the rightful owner starts leeching financial revenue, advertising revenue off of that video, regardless of whether or not they actually deserve to own that money.
This is the thing I think they need to get to, other than, of course, outright defending the person who actually created the thing. Like you said, you've even got flagged for acapella things you've done.
Yeah, acapella covers. Like, somebody thought that my voice sounded exactly like the NES DuckTales Moon theme? Sure, I guess. And so I had to fight that copyright claim on my voice? Sure. It wasn't even for, the video game footage that was playing in the background. It was for the audio. That was ridiculous.
Right, okay. The other thing I think is, because it's a dick thing, like, somebody can just come in and yeah, this is mine. Mm-hmm. It's not mine, but I'm taking it. Find a way to give the money back. If they took money that wasn't theirs, give the friggin' money back.
What some people are suggesting is that a good idea would be, so this got a copyright claim placed on it, and we're gonna hold it in some sort of reserve for the time being while you guys work out where the ownership actually lies. And once you've got that worked out, then it goes to the correct owner, rather than these other companies basically stealing our money and never being allowed to get it back from them, ever.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Even if you win the claim, they've still taken the money.
Yes, exactly.
Which is stupid. Why do you let that happen? You're basically legalizing robbery in that sense.
Yeah, because that money, was just asked here in the chat. No, it never gets reinstated to us. If the company, for a while, say it was my Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills review, for a day, it had a copyright claim on it, and I fought it and I won. But for that one day, luckily it was unlisted, so only a couple of people, my Patreon contributors, got to see it. But any money that those Patreon contributors gave them by watching it, that company that claimed the monetization of it kept those few pennies, and I don't get those few pennies back. That doesn't happen. So there it went.
Yeah, but if you do that enough times, it's the equivalent of Richard Pryor's character's plan from Superman 3. If you leech enough of the pennies, you get a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the idea of Office Space,
No, that's where they got it from. They mentioned in Office Space that he took that from Superman 3.
Yeah. You just drop a few pennies in here and we'll be rich. And then they accidentally moved the decimal point and, took all the money.
Yeah, it's wait, why does this plan sound so familiar? Oh, I got it from Superman 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, that's why that... Alright, that makes sense.
And yes, I agree. Who the hell would want to try and claim ownership of Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills? Because it's oh, you made that? No, we're taking the money.
Apparently it was DHX. The guys who
I'm surprised it wasn't DMX, because he needs money too. Okay, so, moving on.
Sure, yeah, I guess we've said about all there is to say about this.
Yeah.
Again, it's a move in the right direction. It is not perfect, but I am hoping that this insinuates that we can keep moving to fix things to be fair for all parties involved, all creators in every direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on to our second story of the evening, which is, of course, Marvel's next Netflix series debuting, hopefully tonight at midnight in your area, Jessica Jones. So, yes, this series has been worked on for several months, launching tomorrow, officially on the 20th. Many people around the country, at least that I'm aware of, will be calling in sick tomorrow to marathon this series, much like they did with Daredevil.
Wow, this is really like Star Wars scale call out of work.
Well, see, that's Netflix culture in and of itself. Like other series, like House of Cards, people do that for House of Cards, and now they've started doing it for Daredevil, and now Jessica Jones looks to be on the same level because the early reviews, last time I checked, 95% fresh, certified on Rotten Tomatoes right now from all of the initial reviews on it, and it's getting very good reviews on most news sites that I've checked today. And the thing about it is, what this series has going for it is something similar to what Daredevil had going for it, which is that it's very much grounded in realism, and not that fake realism that friggin' Zack Snyder says is in Man of Steel.
Well, yeah, this is what I was gonna bring up, because I don't know that much about Jessica Jones. However, the concept of someone who has superpowers and then moves into the realm of, well, am I a superhero or am I not? It sounds like this story has more grounding in realism while still being fantasy escapism, and it sounds like it's being executed 10 times better than trying to take a guy with every power known to man and then shrink him down into being this little human being kind of ideology.
Well, because some of the... And again, this goes with the writing as well as the acting that is apparent so far in trailers and little clips that we've seen, is that the grounding of this goes back to character. The character of Jessica Jones, she's not perfect by any means. She is a broken person. She is a hurt person who's trying to piece her life together. All of the really, in some cases, if you've read the Alias comic that they're basing this off, some of the unmentionable crap that she's gone through, yeah, it's traumatizing, and it's a real trauma that she goes through.
A trauma that real people have really been through.
Yes, and in the context of the story, you know, she's a former semi-superhero who decided to retire that life, got in a really bad relationship, got out of that after a very long time, and then is trying to put her life together as a private eye. Well, it just so happens...
That's an interesting way to phrase it without ever introducing the sci-fi kind of element.
No, because they're really not focusing in on that so much. I mean, when you have to break it down, yeah, she can punch through walls, and her ex apparently can control people's minds. But the thing about it is, when you break it down, it's somebody who's fighting back with what power they do have versus somebody who's got a very captivating, manipulative personality. When you take it down to that, that's character, and you can build something off that. And it's not just anybody that they gave this to. Of course, Kristen Ritter stars as Jessica Jones. A lot of people have seen her in Breaking Bad, in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, and of course she's getting very strong reviews, like, wow, she nailed the role. She talks about the role that she knew nothing about Jessica Jones going into this, as most people do coming into a comic book adaptation, but once she looked at the script, she absolutely instantly fell in love with the character. Like, this is a real person. I can become this person. I know this person. And then to the flip side of that, we have the Purple Man, Kilgrave, played by the great David Tennant, who is bringing the same fun to the role that he did as, of course, the Doctor, but at the same time, there's this very sinister edge.
It's so hard for me to comprehend. Like, I don't like the idea of comparing him to a previous role that he did. I think I'm going to need to see this for myself so that I can detach that image, actually.
What I'm saying about that is I'm not one of those people that's only seen him in Doctor Who. I've followed his... the rest of his career since then. Granted, that's what introduced me to him, but he's an amazing actor. If you ever get the chance to see his Hamlet is amazing.
Then you can't compare him, this character, to any other character he's done aside from Doctor Who?
Well, to my credit, I haven't seen him much as a villain, unless you want to count him in friggin' Harry Potter's Barty Crouch Jr., but even then, he's only in the movie for, like, that much amount of time. So it's not really much to compare it to, but here, when I say he's his performance is similar to that of him as the Doctor, is that there's an enjoyment that you can see him taking in the role. Like, he's got some real meat to bite into, some real ground he can grow his character in, and you can see he can enjoy being evil.
So not like the plain unenjoyment you could see him doing in what's its adaptation?
In Grace Point? Yeah, no. This isn't Grace Point by any means, where he's just phoning in his performance from Broadchurch. No, not at all. Here, there's a very sinister take on it. Like, he's still got that same smile and charm, but here the charm is very much on a point that's pointed against people. And they say, as far as his power is concerned, where he's got the ability to manipulate people's decisions, it has a lasting effect on people. It's not just that, oh, I controlled your mind, you did a thing, and then you forgot about it. No, people have traumatic experience from it, and it stays with someone like Jessica. And the thing that people are saying that they're going to respond to this once they see the series is that that's what's going to make her a lasting, noticeable female character. It's not just the fact that, yeah, of course we need more female role models, but it's the fact that she's not Wonder Woman, per se, where she's all-powerful, she's standing up to something. No, it's the fact that she's broken to begin with.
Yes.
And she's putting herself back together, and yeah, she's got a lot of stuff to deal with. She's got a lot of hang-ups. She drinks, she cusses, she fights. But people do that.
Yeah.
People respond to things in different ways. And absolutely, I don't know as much about Jessica Jones as some of my other friends who read a lot more comics than I do, but I absolutely believe, because of all the work they did with Daredevil and the amazing job they did with that in 13 episodes, that they're going to do the same thing with this.
Is this a 13 episode run also?
So,
I can pretty much bet. You know how quickly they confirmed Daredevil was going to get a second season on Netflix.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure this will equally, just as quickly, get confirmation of another season.
And of course, since we've got Mike Coulter in here in the role of Luke Cage, this is of course teasing his role into his next series, his solo series, coming out next year on Netflix. So yeah, that'll help bolster that. And I like the fact that they're saying this grounded Netflix branch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes more sense because you can actually see where they live, which is New York. You can actually see, oh yeah, there's the skyline, I recognize that. Or, yeah, I know that deli, I know that corner. Because in
so
the
they're
movies,
using legit locations.
yeah, they filmed on location in New York.
And they're not just filming in, like, not Toronto, but
Well,
in,
you gotta film some studio stuff for, like,
in
explosion.
Vancouver.
Yeah, but no, they took care to make sure, that's New York. You need to recognize New York. Last time it was Hell's Kitchen. I forget which borough exactly they're focusing on this time, but they very much said that in these Netflix series, New York itself is a character.
That's good. That's good.
Which is good, because you want to be able to feel like it's a real place. These are real people, and when you do that, it sticks with you.
Yes.
The same can be said of any of the CW comic books adaptations. When the characters resonate with you, that's what sticks with you. That's what makes your show successful, when you don't have to think too hard to buy into it.
So you think this is gonna make people want to go on some kind of Netflix pilgrimage to the places where their cities, where their superheroes live and do all of their superheroing? Because people do that for other kinds of shows and movies.
Oh yeah, like I imagine once we get to the Defenders, we'll have a good enough mark of, okay, here's all the shots or here's all the scenes from Daredevil, here's all the Jessica Jones, here's all the Luke Cage, here's all the, hopefully, Iron Fist, and then of course the Defenders itself. So yeah, I want this to succeed. I want to see it, get to a point where people want to say, hey, you know what? We're going on a Marvel trip. We're going to see all the spots. Oh, look, this is where Jessica Jones threw that guy through a wall. That was awesome. Or look, there's Daredevil's doorstep, which is a place, they're still filming that right now. But yes, if you guys haven't already called in and you have the opportunity, you've got a few more hours, call into work tomorrow. Or not, if you're in that situation where you can't. I'm in that same spot. Definitely watch this. It'll be up as of tomorrow, or hopefully tonight at midnight. Yes, support Jessica Jones, because this thing is going to be a ride. All right, so last story for the evening. We got a lot of time to talk about this mess.
And we're doing this now because, we're not going to be on the air on Thanksgiving, therefore we can't talk to you guys about some Black Friday deals and or happenings, and I'm sure there will be more over this next week that we don't even have the chance to touch upon. But, before we get too much into it, not everybody's doing something on Black Friday, or not even necessarily that. You know how recently different companies have kind of decided to open their doors on Thanksgiving and push Black Friday sales into Thanksgiving? You know how sometimes we would be driving past Target on Thanksgiving, going to a family member's house, and then we just see this full-ass parking lot, and then all these people waiting at the door. I'm like, oh my god, why aren't you at home with your families?
I know, and it's the thing about it. It's nice to see that this year, in comparison to, say, last year, because we're going to go ahead and talk about some game deals, GameStop will not be doing that. They will not be open on Thanksgiving Day.
Which is good
on them.
Good not only for the people who really should be at home with their loved ones, but also for the people who they made work on Thanksgiving, who should be at home with their loved ones.
Yeah, because unless you got some super mega awesome deal, like who's going to GameStop on Thanksgiving Day? Excuse me, I need a copy of Fallout now. I need it so I can not pay attention to my folks watching the football.
I'm sure somebody is doing that. I don't.
There might be that guy.
Because we're gonna go over to your family's house and they're gonna be like, football, and I'm gonna wish we were playing Fallout 4.
Yeah, or Battlefront.
So, really, in that regard, there's a big old list of stores that are not being open on that Thanksgiving Black Thursday into Friday, which includes, I don't know what AC Moore is, maybe if you guys know it. I wonder if Babies R Us also means Toys R Us, considering they're the same company.
In most cases, it's the same store, because I remember back in the day when they used to be separate, and then it's like, no, we need to save money on rent. Y'all are sharing a room now.
What is BJ's other than a very unfortunate name for a store?
I don't know.
Cabela's, I know Cabela's. Costco, I used to work for Costco, so thank God, because I think I recall I had to work on Thanksgiving once, and that was a miserable, miserable experience.
GameStop, like you mentioned.
GameStop, half-price books.
Which sells a lot more games now.
I had no idea Harbor Freight even had, Black Friday
Who's
deals?
going to Harbor Freight on Black Friday or Thanksgiving?
Joann Fabrics, is it Menards? I want to say the pronunciation of that is Menards. I saw, one of them in Minnesota, and apparently that's a big deal.
Out of this whole list, the only other one you'd have to worry about is, Sam's Club, which might carry some games. Staples if you really need some, I guess, computer
Petco if you love your pet. I love my pet.
Yeah, but if you love your pet, you're not going to...
I don't love her enough to go out for her on Thanksgiving. So sorry, Siren, you're still going to eat your regular old cat food.
Yeah, you don't get... Well, maybe we'll give you some turkey. Okay, so point being, those are all the places that aren't going to be open Thanksgiving Day, but that, of course, leads into Black Friday, which is going to have some deals, of course. We've got the leaked... I don't know if it's leaked, I guess, because it's not actually next week yet. The circular for Best Buy... not Best Buy, GameStop, for some Black Friday deals. Some of them are pretty sweet, I'm not going to lie. $279 for that Wii U Splatoon bundle.
And yeah, don't they have the ability to download some other titles onto? I know they're doing that at possibly GameStop. The bundles for some of these consoles seems pretty sweet. PS4 Black Friday bundle with Uncharted 500 gig hard drive is looking to be $300. That's from where? Amazon, I believe?
Well, that's not bad.
Or is that just plain anywhere? It looks like it might just plain be anywhere. And then, at Target it'll be $300. At GameStop it'll be $300. Walmart and Best Buy and Kohl's, it's all the same thing.
Since when did Kohl's start selling games?
You remember, I did an old review on Castle Shikigami 2.
Yeah.
Kohl's sold me that game, and
well, shame on them.
Yeah, well, they've been selling games for a while, but they're typically crap games. But I don't remember when they started selling consoles. Xbox One's got bundles that include. They have all kinds of different inclusions.
Gears of War, Rise of Tomb Raider. See, the thing is,
But you have to go to different places to get each one of them. GameStop is just giving you the console at $300, whereas you could go to Kohl's and get the one with the Lego Movie, the game, and a $75 Kohl's cash
card.
gift card thing. So you go to these different stores. Overall, this is a pretty good time to get an Xbox One bundle. The problem is going out on Black Friday at all. And then there's deals from Nintendo at Kohl's, Target, GameStop, and Best Buy. A 3DS XL is going to be $20 off. This will be probably your only chance for a long time to get it at only $180.
Yeah, admittedly. And then they've got the Hyrule edition of that 3DS XL for $200.
Mm-hmm.
Now that extends all the way to Sunday though, so you don't have
That's
to go in
good.
on Friday.
That is good. Although they might not even be there anymore if you wait all the way until
Because most
Sunday.
places
That's the
aren't going to
problem.
do rain checks on those. Once
Probably
they're gone,
not.
they're gone.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times I remember specifically years ago when I got my first or when my brother got his first laptop. That's what it was. My grandparents. My brother and I went out to Circuit City at like 5 in the morning.
I did that once.
And we were there, and we had the circular in hand because we wanted to get him this laptop. And lo and behold, once we got to the door, they had already sold it somehow without the doors opening. Because they had this weird check system where they had a guy come out with a clipboard, and he's like, "Okay, what are you here for? Okay, so take this ticket." And then by the first like 10, 15 people in line, all the sales stuff was already bought up. So everybody else back in line was SOL.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was awful, because we walked in there just to say, well, we're here, we're going to walk the store, and then we're going to go home and go back to sleep. And we were back home by 7. It was terrible.
Well, at least they figured out a system where not everybody was going to rush in and die. Because I went to Circuit City one time for Black Friday, and I was luckily at the beginning of the line, but I saw this look of terror on the employees' faces, and I turned around and I watched all these people just rushing in. It was like the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life. But finally, there's a Wii U 32 gig console, $50 off for just $250. It's going to be at Target with free digital downloads of Splatoon and Super Smash Bros.
That's not bad.
That's a pretty good one. But again, I am terrified to fight Black Friday crowd.
Well, see, like, depending on how my day goes, the 2 days before, I might just go to Black Friday just to blow off some steam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even want any of the stuff they're offering. I just want to fight somebody.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you just want to punch a guy. That happens. We live in harsh times. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You are going to feed America's problems, sir. You're not helping.
Feed America's problems. What problem? I'm gonna end up on WorldstarHipHop.com.
That's
with
awful.
The best...
What is wrong with you?
Because, well, we covered this before in past years about how bad things got after Black Friday, but in the last year or two, we haven't had that much, disappointingly, to report on. Like, people were being civil. Great.
Well, you say that like you really want to see news reports of really bad things going down. I really don't.
A little bit, just a little bit. Don't lie to me and say you don't a little bit want to see, somebody took a flat screen to the face because they got in somebody's way at Walmart.
Well, so long as these people aren't like legit like hurt, nobody's dead. Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear some funny stories, but I don't want to hear like major injury stories.
Well, no, I want to bust up into Toys R Us at 6 a.m. going for the Nerf guns like, nobody judges me! Like, yeah, that might...
Alright.
But it depends. If I don't need to work out that rage, I won't do it.
I think we'll be fine.
Hopefully we'll be fine.
I don't think we're gonna need that.
But the thing about it is, like, for us, like, we don't have a Wii U yet. We don't have an X-Bone yet.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those deals sound pretty tempting.
That Wii U deal sounds pretty tempting to
Yeah,
me.
if I had to go with anything, I'd go with the Wii U. I know a lot of people got the Xbox One, but it's like, I don't know what it is about it. It just doesn't appeal to me.
Well, we already have a PS4, and almost everything that I want is on PS4. There's very few Xbox One exclusives.
Except
that I
what,
really
Halo,
want.
the
Halo's
Master Chief
about it,
Collection.
yeah.
And that's about it. Like, what else do you want? What is it, Dance Central is just on there? Or
Dance Central, I don't even think they released a modern console version of it, so no.
Well, so who the hell cares?
Well, somebody cares. I promise you somebody cares, and I'm just not well enough researched to care.
Yeah, see, the thing about it is, when you're comparing all these places, like, usually it's Target, Walmart, or Toys R Us that ends up breaking out into a fight, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really heard anything happen to a GameStop. I mean, I think there was the one story about a year or two back where a couple of GameStops got knocked over.
Yeah.
But that's about it. You don't really see anybody getting into a fight at a GameStop.
Typically, no.
Really,
no.
because most people there can't really get into a fight. Because they're tired from being up all night playing. That's the only reason. It happens.
Okay. That's
Thumbs get sore.
That's really about it, to be honest with you. If you guys are going out on Black Friday, be safe, be careful. Certainly report back into us what your findings were, because I'm sure that's going to be awesome to report back on. If you have any awesome stories of people like getting into really outrageous, completely unnecessary fights,
absolutely tell us on Twitter, and maybe we'll repeat it here on the show if you got a good one.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's better than having to go track them down. If we hear, oh man, you would not believe what I had to do for this PS4. There was this homeless guy, and like you just go off from there. How the story goes. Just start with the homeless guy, and then go from there.
So all of our stories that we report on next week are going to involve a homeless guy.
It's in some way, shape, or form. Like the homeless guy found the keys to the back of the GameStop, and there was a truck waiting there.
Okay, so that's enough. That's enough. I think we better stop there.
Are you sure? Because the story gets really good.
No, it's all right. It's all
Are you
right.
sure?
Maybe in the Q&A, people can ask you about where this story is going, because that's exactly where we're going. We're gonna wrap up our show for this evening. But if you guys are with us here live right now, you can stick around with us for the next 30 minutes as we do Q&A stuff with you guys. We'll just shoot the breeze with you. If you are watching this not live, if you're just watching this on demand on our YouTube channel here, we would love to see you guys down here on Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. Central. Granted, we will not be here 9 p.m. Central next week because that'll be Thanksgiving. Everybody's going to be with their families. We are aware of that. We know you guys will be busy. We too will be busy.
Yeah, whether or not we have a show next week, we will let you guys know.
But
definitely it won't be...
If we do, it'll probably be on the Friday, not the Thursday.
But we're definitely not doing one next Thursday.
Exactly.
Because turkey time.
But do follow us on Twitter to find out when and where we're going to be doing this from. I mean, we're going to be doing it from here, of course. But
yes, but of course you can follow us there on Twitter. Talk to us on Twitter about your Black Friday findings, or if you're going to just wait for Cyber Monday, I advise that.
Yes.
But you can always talk to us there. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at Mars Girl.
So that having been said, that's been tonight's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys next week.
Good night.
Or at some point later.
Yes. Bye.